Finding your way around our website. Part 4. Activities. You will have seen in our basic video that allaboutheaven.org is not like ordinary websites. It is a massive database, truly massive, containing cross-referenced mystical, metaphysical, spiritual, symbolic, healing, and evidence-based data. And this means that help is sometimes needed to find your way around. So this series of videos on portals, symbols and so on is there to do this. And this video is about how to find your way around the activities section. So if you go to our homepage, www.allaboutheaven.org, you will find a header with 6 clickable buttons. Activities is one of them. Click on this button and you will be taken to the activities page. There is a search facility which you can use to find just activities. But what, you might say, is an activity? Activities. An activity is the means by which a spiritual experience was obtained. In the basics video, we explained that everything on the site hinges around the observations we collected. As such, only activities derived from the text of the observations or statements made by the source are included on this site. And sometimes there will be observations without any activities because the source did not disclose what they were doing at the time. And sometimes there may be many activities, all of which contributed to the experience. So let us take as an example the near-death experience of the singer Tony Bennett. If we scroll down to the bottom of the page, we find that he himself in the description says it was caused by nearly drowning in the bath after taking cocaine. And thus we have these 2 activities recorded in the activities section of this observation. Press the link and it will take you to a full description of each activity. You will also notice that they appear under a heading, Overload, which brings us on to the next section. Overload or suppression. If we go back to the main activity page, you will see on the left that all activities are classified as either overload or suppression, which sounds a bit sinister, but isn't. And to understand why, we need to introduce the work of Henri-Louis Bergson. Henri-Louis Bergson, 1859 to 1941, was a major French philosopher. He was greatly praised in his lifetime and awarded a Nobel Prize in 1927 in recognition of his rich and vitalizing ideas. In 1930, France awarded him its highest honour, the Grand Croix de la Légion d'honneur. Bergson noticed that emotions are not fixed things, but are always contrasted and have varying degrees of intensity up and down, swinging like a pendulum, but rarely in balance. on a sort of sliding scale having no fixed increments. And the best way to show this is an example. As the intensity of an emotion increases, the chart shows it as a darker colour. So the highest intensity emotions may be bliss, contrasting with total agony. As the intensity decreases, the bliss becomes simply pleasure, and as the total agony eases off, it simply becomes pain. Eventually, in the centre, there is a sort of neutral point where no emotion whatsoever is experienced. What is noticeable is that a positive emotion can become almost negative at high levels of intensity. Loyalty becomes fanaticism. Simple joy becomes uncontrollable mania. Bravery turns into foolhardiness. Overload activities produce very high intensity emotions, positive and negative. They are most effective at violently breaking down the door of perception, and as such are only suited to confident, robust, even dogmatic people, because high intensity emotion totally drowns the ego, shouts as loudly as the ego itself, and sometimes the battle is truly violent. Which is why no children or genuinely meek people should even consider using overload activities deliberately. Suppression activities produce much more moderated emotion, more gentle and less harmful to health. And they work because we have the observations to prove it, and the door to perception opens without any force, and are well suited to the humble and pure of heart, the gentle and the unassuming, and indeed one day the meek shall inherit the earth. The types of activity. Both overload and suppression calming activities are further divided into types. Actions, something you deliberately do or which has been specifically invented to obtain a spiritual experience. Events, something that happened to a person which has produced a spiritual experience but which was not for the purpose of spiritual experience. Example might be childbirth or exposure to great heights. Food and drink. Overload to the left, suppression, and nutritional balance on the right. The overload section includes food additives and food supplements, as well as overdosing on vitamin pills. Illnesses or disabilities, a temporary illness or permanent or semi-permanent disability that has produced spiritual experiences. The suppression section has very few activities, as one might expect, but they are exceptionally important permanent conditions that can produce amazing experiences. Medicines. The medicines in the overload section are based on manufactured chemical pharmaceuticals that suppress the symptoms and do not tackle the cause. The medicines in the suppression section are all intended to be healing medicines, treating the cause, and are based on plants, not extraction from plants, the plants themselves, or other natural products and chemicals. An example. So, as an example, let us go to the suppression section. When we press the events link, we are presented with this page that provides you with the definition of event. And then, if we scroll down, we get to an alphabetic list of activities. You will see there are not that many, but let us press L and then living in a stone-built house. You will be presented with the activity description in full. Each activity has a description or definition, background detail, and an analysis of why it happened, how it works, and references. And equally important, at the bottom of the page, all the experiences caused this way, classified by the type of experience: hallucinations, wisdom and inspiration, etc., out of time, near death, out of body, rebirth, etc., in time, prophecy, and so on. Observations, their types and definitions, were described in our basics video.